that the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl? Just how do you process it?
Going to the Super Bowl. Man, we put a lot of work in to have this opportunity, you know. Put a lot of work in to have this opportunity and to be here. And, you know, it's a moment that we want to enjoy as a team, reflecting on everything that we've been able to overcome to have this opportunity in front of us. You know, we want to take advantage of it, you know. Want to take advantage of it. The atmosphere tonight was amazing. The fans showed up. The energy, all of it. So we need to bring that to AC.
Goal is set. And before we get there, let's talk about these crazy championship games. So our guy Jalen, 15 for 25, 121 yards. Not much. Didn't have to do very much. Did not play well in the second half by any stretch of the imagination. But he really didn't have to. He just had to stay the status quo. And then Philadelphia was able to keep going like this as the 49ers were doing this. Every person of note for Philadelphia almost got hurt. Everybody of note got hurt almost for the most part. And when you're rocking with your, fifth string quarterback and then he gets hurt and Brock Purdy has to come back in because Brock Purdy got hurt. And then your defense got a little banged up. It was just a terrible situation and a terrible way for the 49ers to end the season because at one point, you thought it was going to be a game. It was tied 7-7. You're like, oh, snap. Here we go. 49ers just fell apart. And they got some major questions going into the offseason. Major questions going into the offseason. We'll address those on another day. But this is Philadelphia's day. They're back to the Super Bowl after doing a complete rebuild. Like Nick Sirianni, Kelsey, in the main event, Jalen Hurts. Just shout out to you guys. Wonderful story, great story, and I look forward to seeing you guys in a couple weeks. So, and then the final game, Mahomes versus Burrow, part 4. It lived up to all the hype. Burrow was 26 for 41, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Did not play well. There was at no point in this game with Burrow that I was like, maybe once or twice in a couple drives that oh my God, here comes Burrow. And it just never materialized to anything worth of note, you know? The offensive line was terrible. They gave up so many hurries. I think they gave up 6 sacks total, 6 or 7 sacks total. I'll put it on the screen. I know they gave up 4 in the first half though. They don't really have questions going into the offseason. They just have to try their best to sign everybody. Burrow's contract is coming up. Mixon's contract is coming up. Higgins, all the top guys, their contracts are coming up. And you got to figure out who you're going to spend money on who you're going to let go, how you're going to finagle some of these contracts. Is Burrow going to take a discount? Those are things that they have to know as an organization, because this is probably the most talented team that you would ever have. I feel like they kind of played scared in a sense. I know Burrow's your guy, but you can't rely on Burrow the whole game. Got to give Burrow a running game, because they was pinning their ears back going straight to Burrow. Yeah, you put the double. You had a tight end and a running back back there trying to block the Burrow, but at some point you got to run the ball. That was what did them in. They didn't run the ball efficient enough, and they just said screw it. So phenomenal season for them. We didn't think they was going to be here. I didn't think they were going to be here. I knew they were going to make the playoffs, but I wasn't sure they were going to be here because I had Baltimore coming out the division, but we all know how happened to Baltimore. And so the main event, Patrick Mahomes, one-legged Mahomes. He was 29 for 43, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got lucky a couple times. Not the refs. They dropped a couple passes that should have been interceptions. And people are going to be like, oh, it was rigged, blah, 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 blah. But if you sat and watched the game from start to finish like I did, you would see, even on that third down, that they essentially had to do twice because they messed up the clock management. Cincinnati got a sack on that. So that didn't even matter. The push out of bounds on Patrick Mahomes, that's a rough in the passer call. Or I think it's unnecessary roughness. If that happened to Brady, y'all would understand. But that essentially lost the game for them. I didn't see nothing in this game that I was like, ooh, maybe one call, and I can't recall what it was. But there was really only one call that I was like, Ugh, man, that was bad. At one point, Patrick Mahomes had thrown to over 10 receivers because almost all his starting receivers were hurt or gimpy or couldn't move, or it's something crazy. And he was on one leg. One leg. He had to make one run, and that was the run to get to the Super Bowl. And they talked they stuff afterwards. If I can find some of the stuff they talked, which rightfully so, because Cincinnati have been saying they're the big dogs of the AFC for like the last 2 weeks.
God, man. Woo! Arrowhead in my ass! Woo! It's Mahomes' house!
That's Arrowhead. It's not Burrowhead out here.
No, it's not Burrowhead anymore.
Yeah, and the one mistake Mahomes did make was the uncharacteristic turnover that I'm definitely going to find and put on the screen. That was a big turnover because I don't think they're even in a situation to have to get a field goal if that doesn't happen, because I think they're driving, they're going to score there. And if they score there, it's 27-13 at that point. So, luck comes to those who are prepared for it. That's not the saying, but it sounds good. Mahomes is that guy. Mahomes is unquestionably the best quarterback in football right now. Nothing to talk about. Everybody else is a tier below. Josh Allen, Lamar, Jalen, all of them guys are just a tier below Mahomes. And we got an all-black quarterback series Super Bowl, and I'm very happy about that. So you might be like, Keith, who are you picking? Do I really want to tell y'all right now? I'm going to tell y'all right now. I think I'm going to go